TYPO3 is well known for its multi-language support, making it really easy to translate your site's pages and content into different languages. In this video, we're going to add an additional language to my example TYPO3 installation, and we'll start translating some of its pages and content. We'll also look at the different localization modes that exist within TYPO3, including Translate mode, a convenient tool for managing translated content. Finally, we'll view our content in the front end and switch between our two languages. So let's get started. So I'm logged in and I have administrator rights for my TYPO3 installation. If I go ahead and view one of my pages, I can see that my content is in English and I have a small flag icon denoting that. What I'd like to do now is add a secondary language. I'm going to head over to the Site Management module and select Sites. I can see that I have one site and English is my only language. Let's edit my site configuration and select the Languages tab. So we can see the configuration for my default language, which is English. And I can see that I have a title, it's enabled in the front end, and I can see other information such as the locale settings. Also note that I can change the entry point. As this is my default language, I don't have one set up, as it's not required. And then underneath we have information related to the front end, and of course I can select a flag for my language. So I want to add my second language, and I have three options. I can either add a new language from scratch, use a language configuration from another site in my installation, or I can choose from an existing preset. Now, in almost all use cases, you can select your language from the preset, and that's what I'm going to do in my example. And we can see that all of the information for our second language is already set for us. And to access my site in the front end in my second language, I just need to add /cy to the end of my domain. Next, we can specify what happens if a piece of content has not been translated, and we call this fallback types. And we have three options: strict, fallback, and free mode. I'm going to stick with strict mode for my example. Okay, let's save our new language and head back to the page tree. I'm going to select the language comparison tool on the top left. And the very first thing it wants me to do is create a new translation for this page in my new language. So let's do that first. Note the URL for my page in my new language as well. Let's save and close, and let's select all languages. We now have my primary language on the left-hand side with my existing content in English, and to my right is my new language ready for me to start localizing my content. Note that my page is currently disabled in my second language, and we'll change that later. Next, I'm going to select the Translate button. And I've got two options. I can either select Translate or Copy. In my example, I'm going to select Translate. I can then choose which of my content elements I wish to translate. We can now see that my content has been copied over and automatically disabled. We can also see that connected mode is now enabled for this page. Next, I'll quickly add my new content in my second language. Connected mode means that if I change the order of my content in my primary language and refresh my browser, we can see that the order has changed in my secondary language as well. That's because the two are now connected. And if I change the order back again, the order changes back on my second language as well. Note that I can only create new content in my primary language, and that's one of the core features of connected mode. The primary language is always the parent. Let's head over to the front end of my example website and see all of this in action. Now I'm using a Bootstrap package for my front end templates, and the Bootstrap package also comes with a built-in language switcher. And when I switch language, we can notice two things. First, our content has been translated and is in the correct order. And the second thing I notice is that the top level menu is a little bit thinner. And that's because we've enabled strict mode for our translations, and we haven't translated any other pages in our page tree. So if I want my additional pages to appear in my top menu, in my second language, I will need to get them translated before they're visible in the front end.